the colony that vanished without a trace. The sun was setting over Roanoke Island, casting long shadows across the dense forest and sandy shores. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees as Captain John White stepped onto the soil he had once called home. His heart pounded with anticipation and unease as he gazed around at the familiar yet eerily silent landscape. Where were the settlers? The colony that had thrived under his leadership just a few years ago now stood abandoned, its wooden structures weathered and crumbling. Before we begin, tell me, where are you listening from, and what time is it there? John had left the colony in the care of Governor Eleanor Dare while he returned to England for supplies. Promising to return swiftly, he sailed away with heavy hearts on both sides. Little did he know that war and political turmoil would delay his return by several years. As he disembarked from his ship, the silence pressed heavily upon him. Not a single soul greeted him. No laughter of children, no calls of laborers, no smoke rising from hearths. The first thing John noticed was the word Croton carved into a post near the fort's entrance. It gave him some hope. This was not the mark of distress they had agreed upon. But still, where had everyone gone? He searched every corner of the settlement, calling out names: Eleanor, Ananias, Virginia. His granddaughter, Virginia, the first English child born in the New World, was among those who had vanished without a trace. Days turned into weeks as John and his men scoured the surrounding areas. They visited nearby islands, questioned native tribes, and followed any clue that might lead them to the missing colonists. The Croatoan tribe, whose name was carved on the post, lived on an island south of Roanoke. Perhaps they held answers. But storms began to batter the coast, forcing John to reconsider his search. Supplies were dwindling, and the crew grew restless. Back in England, news of the colony's disappearance spread slowly. Officials and investors in the Virginia Company debated possible explanations. Had the colonists been attacked by hostile natives? Had they succumbed to disease or starvation? Or had they simply moved inland, seeking better land or safer quarters? Speculation ran wild, but concrete evidence remained elusive. In the months following John's arrival, relations with local tribes became increasingly strained. Some reported seeing white men living among native villages, dressed in tribal clothing and adopting their customs. Others claimed to have found remnants of English tools and utensils scattered throughout the region. Each new piece of information raised more questions than it answered. As seasons changed and years passed, the mystery of Roanoke only deepened. Expeditions launched from Jamestown brought back conflicting reports. Some explorers believed they had found traces of the lost colonists, while others dismissed such claims as fanciful tales. The harsh realities of colonial life made survival difficult even for seasoned settlers, let alone those who had disappeared under such mysterious circumstances. For Eleanor Dare, if she still lived, the journey must have been fraught with hardship and uncertainty. Leaving behind the relative safety of their fortified settlement required immense courage and adaptability. Whether they chose to leave willingly or were forced out by necessity remains unknown. What is certain is that their decision led them into uncharted territory, both literally and figuratively. The natural environment of coastal Carolina presented its own challenges. Summers could be brutally hot and humid, while winters brought biting cold and unpredictable storms. Food sources varied depending on location and season, requiring constant vigilance and resourcefulness. If the colonists had indeed joined with friendly tribes, they would have needed to learn entirely new ways of living, abandoning many of the comforts and practices they brought from England. Over time, the legend of the lost colony grew, becoming part of American folklore. Songs and stories speculated about their fate, imagining everything from peaceful assimilation into native cultures to tragic endings at the hands of enemies. Artists depicted haunting scenes of empty settlements and shadowy figures disappearing into the wilderness. Historians and archaeologists continue to study the site, hoping to uncover definitive evidence of what truly happened. Yet, despite all the theories and investigations, one fact remains undeniable. An entire community vanished from Roanoke Island, leaving behind only cryptic clues and enduring mysteries. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the uncertainties faced by early settlers and the resilience required to survive in unfamiliar lands. As we ponder their fate, we are reminded that history often holds secrets that may never be fully revealed. The wind still whispers through the trees of Roanoke Island, carrying echoes of voices long silent. Visitors to the site today can walk among the ruins and imagine the lives once lived there. Perhaps somewhere in the vast American wilderness, descendants of those original settlers still carry fragments of their ancestors' stories, unaware of the legends that surround their beginnings. Or maybe the truth lies buried beneath centuries of sand and soil, waiting patiently to be discovered. Whatever happened to the people of Roanoke, their story continues to captivate us. It speaks to our shared human experience of exploration, adaptation, and the search for meaning in the face of uncertainty. In remembering them, we honor not just their disappearance, but also the courage and determination that brought them to this distant shore. And so, the mystery of the lost colony endures, a testament to the enduring power of unanswered questions and the timeless allure of discovery. Pause here for reflection. Imagine the weight of responsibility John felt as he searched for his family and friends. Picture the changing landscapes of coastal Carolina, from lush forests to open beaches. Consider the possibilities that stretch before us like the endless horizon. The story of Roanoke is not just about what was lost, but also about what remains. Questions that linger through generations, connections that transcend time, and the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream beyond the known world. Let these thoughts settle as you ponder the fate of those who vanished without a trace. Their story is woven into the fabric of American history, a thread that runs through our collective consciousness, reminding us that sometimes the most compelling narratives are those that remain unfinished. And perhaps that is how it should be, a mystery that invites each new generation to seek its own answers, to explore its own horizons, and to remember those who came before us, forever lost yet never forgotten. The ship found adrift with no one on board. The sun was setting over the vast Atlantic Ocean, casting a golden hue across the waves as Captain Jameson prepared his ship for another long journey. The Mary Celeste, named after its original owner's daughter, stood proudly at the docks of Boston Harbor. It was an ordinary day in late autumn when the crew gathered on board, ready to set sail towards Europe with a shipment of valuable goods. The atmosphere aboard the vessel was calm and professional. Each sailor knew their role well, having worked together for years under Captain Jameson's steady leadership. As they departed from shore, the wind carried whispers of adventure and prosperity. Little did anyone know that this voyage would become one of the most perplexing mysteries in maritime history. Let us pause here. Take a moment to imagine the scene. Wooden planks creaking beneath boots, salt water spraying against the hull, and laughter echoing among men who shared camaraderie born out of countless journeys at sea. Captain Jameson had assembled a seasoned crew consisting of 10 experienced sailors, including himself. Among them were Thomas Anderson, the first mate known for his sharp eyesight even during foggy nights. Robert Hayes, the quartermaster whose knack for navigation earned him respect throughout New England ports. And William Jenkins, a jovial cook whose hearty meals kept morale high no matter how rough the weather became. Each member brought unique skills necessary for ensuring smooth sailing across unpredictable waters. Their destination was Genoa, Italy, where merchants awaited eagerly to receive barrels filled with industrial alcohol destined for winemakers there. This particular cargo held significant value, not just financially, but also symbolically representing ties between American producers and European consumers, strengthening through trade routes established centuries ago. As we reflect upon these details, let our voices soften, slightly conveying reverence for traditions upheld despite changing times. On the morning following departure, everything seemed normal aboard the Mary Celeste. Breakfast consisted of freshly baked bread paired with strong coffee brewed by Jenkins, while conversations flowed easily about recent events back home or tales spun creatively around campfires ashore. However, as days turned into weeks traversing open seas under clear skies, interspersed occasionally by squalls testing seamanship capabilities, something unusual began occurring, though none could pinpoint exactly what it was initially. It started subtly, perhaps unnoticed, amidst routine tasks performed daily aboard any seafaring vessel. Tools left unattended near railings instead being stored properly inside cabins afterward use. Doors found slightly ajar, contrary usual practice securing tightly before retiring nightfall. Faint sounds resembling footsteps heard late hours below decks, yet no figure seen whenever investigations conducted swiftly, albeit cautiously, lest intruders lurked stealthily within confines floating fortress, miles away nearest landmass. Visible horizon line, barely distinguishable twilight hours approached signaling end. Another grueling shift watch duty rotation schedule adhered, strictly maintain order, prevent chaos breaking loose, unexpected circumstances arising suddenly. Without warning whatsoever. Pause now. Consider deeply implications such anomalies manifesting themselves gradually over time, creating unease amongst hardened mariners accustomed facing dangers, headlong, courageously battling elements, nature through path determined, reach goal come. Hell high water alike. By third week underway, tension palpable amongst crew members, noticeable even casual observer, visiting briefly tour, ship inspect preparations, upcoming port call, stopover, resupply provisions, replenish stocks, dwindling steadily consumption. Ongoing voyage, lengthy duration planned originally estimated, accurately accounting unforeseen delays, encountered adverse conditions, encountered mid-ocean crossing, notorious stretch, infamous sudden storms arising seemingly nowhere. Threatening overturned vessels, lesser caliber construction standards enforced today, modern-era shipping industry worldwide recognized importance, safety measures implemented safeguard lives, property alike. One evening, particularly memorable due peculiar incident involving compass readings taken multiple times, different locations, deck yielding inconsistent results, defying explanation, scientific knowledge available, period, concerned parties, involved gathering, discuss findings, compare notes, attempt determine cause, phenomenon observed repeatedly, unable find satisfactory answer, question posed minds, curious individuals, present situation. Let us delve further, exploring chain events leading ultimate discovery, shocking revelation, world still debates possible, explanations, plausible theories proposed, experts, fields, diverse ranging, paranormal enthusiasts, historians, specializing, naval warfare tactics employed ancient civilizations seeking advantage battlefields, vast oceans, separating continents, cultures, peoples alike. During dinner hour, unusually quiet compared usual boisterous atmosphere accompanying mealtime gatherings past voyages undertaken similar circumstances, noted several crewmen absent attendance, normally expected regular occurrence, unless illness prevented participation, somehow overlooked previous occasions, considering overall health condition, reported good medical records, maintained meticulously updated frequent intervals, ensure compliance regulations governing health. Safety standards applicable international waters, traversed regularly, commercial purposes, private expeditions alike. Concern growing amongst remaining participants, prompting inquiry regarding whereabouts missing personnel, initiated immediately searches, conducted systematically covering entire length, breadth, vessel, careful examination, every nook cranny. Storage compartments, engine rooms alike. Leaving stone unturned pursuit answers sought earnestly everyone affected emotionally impact situation unfolding rapidly before eyes disbelief, mounting proportionally increasing uncertainty. Surrounding fate comrades vanished mysteriously, leaving behind only clues formulating incomplete picture reality transpired actuality remains elusive grasp comprehension fully. Night fell quickly over Mary Celeste darkness enveloping surroundings completely save occasional flashes. Lightning distant horizon, illuminating silhouette, majestic ship cutting through waves, methodically powered engines, humming rhythmically background constant reminder, progress continuing forward, direction, predestined meeting, destiny unknown, awaits somewhere beyond immediate perception range, senses sharpened, alertness, heightened anticipation building steadily. Approaching climax story, unraveling threads, mystery woven, complex tapestry events, interwoven destinies, intertwined fates, sealed decisions, made moments, critical importance, defining character testing, metal true measure, worth measured. Actions taken consequences borne responsibility, accepted willingly, reluctantly alike. Hours passed, slowly aboard ghostly silent vessel, once vibrant life pulsating through veins. Timberwork now stilled, eerie quietude reigning supreme oppressive weight, bearing down heavily upon shoulders, few left standing guard positions. Assigned strategically key points, access vital areas requiring protection, safeguarding secrets, hidden deep recesses, memory, collective consciousness, humanity itself, perhaps waiting rediscovery, illumination, truth-buried layers, conjecture, speculation, built generations, removed original source information, originating event, central narrative focus, attention drawn repeatedly, retelling variations, theme, consistent, core essence, preserved intact essence, purest form imaginable. Conceivable limits, human imagination stretched thin, attempting grasp enormity implications contained simple act, recording facts, observing phenomena, natural, unnatural alike, coexisting harmony, discord simultaneously, paradox resolved, unresolved alike. Dawn broke, revealing startling sight, horizon, distant shape, familiar appearing closer, inspection revealed unmistakably, Mary Celeste herself floating aimlessly, currents carrying her inexorably toward shores, far distant origin point departure. Months prior, forgotten momentarily, celebrations welcoming home, heroes, triumphant return, successful mission accomplished, glory, honor, bestowed, appropriately rewarded, riches, fame, fortune alike, awaiting embrace, extended, lovingly, family. Friends missed dearly separated, distance time alike. Bridged finally reunion, joyous tears, happiness, overwhelming emotions, flooding senses, cleansing, purifying soul, spirit alike. However, celebration short-lived, abruptly halted arrival British brig de Gracia Captain David Morehouse friend colleague Captain Jameson, surprising encounter open waters hundreds miles nearest landmass, raising questions immediate. Concern, primary foremost welfare souls aboard, presumed lost sea forevermore, swallowed merciless depths, eternal abyss, hiding countless secrets, untold stories, written, rewritten, erased, rewritten again, cycle, endless repeating patterns. Recurring themes explored, reinterpreted anew, each generation discovering, rediscovering truths, half-forgotten lessons learned, forgotten relearned anew, wisdom gained loss, suffering alike. Boarding party dispatched, investigate, boarded, found eerily deserted interior state preservation, remarkable considering exposure elements prolonged, period absence, human presence evident everywhere, signs, habitation, recent past clearly. Visible tables set uneaten food, remnants, plates, bowls alike, suggesting interruption, sudden unexpected nature, leaving little opportunity preparation, departure, orderly fashion, customary observed formalities, observed proper etiquette, maintained relations, colleagues, peers alike, mutual respect, admiration, shared openly, freely alike, bonds strengthened, tested, adversity overcome together, triumph achieved united efforts, combined strength greater than some individual parts. alike. Search thorough, comprehensive, uncovered single logbook entry dated day prior abandonment, noting strange occurrences, weather patterns, unusual behavior, compass readings, erratic nature continued until final notation, abrupt cessation entries. Altogether, leaving gaping hole narrative structure, continuity, broken, irreparably gap, impossible bridge conjecture alone, filling spaces, empty voids, created disappearance, persons' accounts alike, leaving investigators frustrated, unsatisfied. Lacking closure, definitive answers sought tirelessly, pursued relentlessly alike, passions ignited curiosity, fueled determination, uncover truth, underlying surface appearances, deceptions alike, masking reality, lurking shadows, waiting, revelation light shining brightly, dispelling darkness, ignorance alike. Speculation rampant wild theories proposed ranging mundane, practical explanations, rational, logical thought processes applied methodically, stepwise deduction, reasoning, analytical alike, producing reasonable conclusions, supported evidence. Available contemporary knowledge base, existing period alike, producing satisfactory resolution, acceptable majority-informed opinions alike, leaving minority dissatisfied, unconvinced, alternate possibilities, explored, considered, dismissed. Eventually, returning original hypotheses, modified, refined, incorporating additional data points, collected, analyzed rigorously alike, producing consensus agreement, general principles, guiding interpretation events, transpired aboard Mary Celeste's mysterious voyage, ultimately unanswered questions, lingering, haunting echoes, reverberating chambers, mind, imagination alike, inspiring creativity, artistic expression, literary works, visual alike, capturing essence, wonder, awe, inspired. Human experience encountering extraordinary, ordinary alike, transcending boundaries, defined limited perspectives, expanding horizons, limitless potential alike, achieving greatness heights undreamt imaginable alike. The skyjacker who jumped and vanished. The sun was setting over the Pacific Northwest, casting a golden hue across the sky as passengers aboard Flight 305 settled into their seats. The air inside the Boeing 727 was filled with quiet conversations and the occasional rustle of newspapers. It was an ordinary afternoon in late autumn when everything changed. D.B. Cooper, a man in his mid-40s wearing a dark suit and tie, boarded the plane at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport like any other traveler. His demeanor seemed calm, almost casual, but there was something about him that caught the attention of those nearby. Perhaps it was the way he carried himself, or the faint glint in his eyes. As the flight prepared for takeoff, Cooper ordered a bourbon on the rocks from one of the flight attendants. "Thank you," he said politely, his voice steady, yet carrying a subtle edge. Little did anyone know, this moment would mark the beginning of one of America's most infamous unsolved mysteries. The atmosphere shifted subtly as the plane ascended into the clouds. Passengers sipped their drinks, read books, or gazed out the windows at the sprawling landscape below. But deep within the confines of the aircraft, tension began to build. After the drink, Cooper handed the flight attendant a note written neatly on a piece of paper. She glanced at it briefly before looking up at him questioningly. He nodded slightly, urging her to read further. Her expression hardened as realization dawned upon her. "I have a bomb," the message stated plainly. Panic rippled through the cabin as words spread among the crew and eventually reached the pilots. Authorities were alerted immediately, initiating a chain of events that would captivate the nation. Ground personnel scrambled to respond, coordinating with local law enforcement and federal agencies. Negotiations ensued between Cooper and officials on the ground. Demands were made: 200, zero in cash, 4 parachutes, and safe passage to Mexico City. The ransom money was hastily assembled, bundled in crisp bills without sequential serial numbers. Parachutes were procured under duress while authorities devised a plan to apprehend the mysterious hijacker once the plane landed again. Yet every move they considered felt 2 steps behind his calculated strategy. Flight 305 touched down at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport after circling long enough for preparations to be completed. Under the cover of darkness, Cooper exchanged the hostages for the demanded items. Only a few crew members remained on board as the jet refueled and prepared for its next leg-a-short journey southward toward Reno, Nevada. Inside the cabin, silence reigned supreme. The hum of engines provided a monotonous backdrop against which thoughts raced wildly among those present. What was going through Cooper's mind? Was this merely a desperate act born out of necessity or part of some grander scheme? Upon arrival in Reno, Cooper instructed the pilots to head toward Mexico City, maintaining low altitude to avoid radar detection. However, midway through the flight, he exited the rear staircase of the aircraft using one of the parachutes, leaping into the abyss amidst torrential rain and fierce winds. Time seemed to stand still as witnesses watched in disbelief. How could anyone survive such a daring escape? Questions lingered heavily in the air, unanswered and unyielding. In the days following Cooper's disappearance, search parties scoured vast stretches of wilderness where he might have landed. Helicopters buzzed overhead while teams trudged through dense forests and muddy terrain. Despite extensive efforts spanning years, no conclusive evidence emerged linking him directly to a specific location or identity. Speculation ran rampant. Was he a former military operative, a skilled pilot, or simply a man driven by desperation? Decades later, fragments of the story resurfaced periodically, reigniting public interest. In 1980, a young boy playing along the banks of the Columbia River discovered a rotting bundle containing several $1,000s worth of the ransom money. This find fueled renewed speculation regarding Cooper's fate. Had he managed to evade capture altogether? Did he perish during the jump? Or perhaps lived quietly somewhere unknown, forever cloaked in mystery? The children who disappeared in a fire with no remains. The sun was setting over the small town of Maplewood, casting long shadows across the quiet streets. The air was filled with the scent of pine trees